Hello and welcome to Beyond the Lights. It's October 11th, 2017, and I'm your host, Chris Sitek. Let's start the show off with some playoff baseball. The Chicago Cubs and Washington Nationals are playing a pivotal Game 4 at Wrigley Field today. And here are three big things I'm watching in this game. The first thing is the ace-off brewing. Washington recently announced a pitching change as Nats ace Steven Strasburg will make the Game 4 nod after battling an illness. Strasburg has been lights out since the All-Star break, posting a .86 ERA over that span and had a dominant Game 1 outing, allowing just 3 hits and no earned runs over 7 innings pitched. Wow. But durability has been an issue for Strasburg over the course of his career and will definitely be something to watch for in this Game 4 matchup. The Cubs will have their ace going on as well in Jake Arrieta, who's 2-0 in his last 2 postseason outings. The second thing is whose bats can catch fire. Both the Nationals and Cubs have been struggling in this series, to say the least. Both are averaging about a few runs a game, and neither have showed any bit of dominance from an offensive perspective. Third baseman Chris Bryant has just 1 RBI through 3 games, and first baseman Anthony Rizzo has 5. Look for the combination called Brizzo to try to get it going in this pivotal matchup. Meanwhile, the Nationals' hopes hinge on the bats of Bryce Harper, Daniel Murphy, and Anthony Rendon, who combined have just 4 hits through 3 games. The third thing I'm watching for is who will pull the right strings in this Game 4. Cubs manager Joe Maddon has made all the right moves in Game 3, utilizing his bullpen and pinch-hitting stud Albert Almora Jr. to squeeze out a 2-1 win last game. Meanwhile, Nationals manager Dusty Baker did pretty much the opposite of it. He pulled out ace pitcher Max Scherzer after only 6 innings of work. Scherzer had only given up just 2 hits, and relief pitchers Sammy Solis and Brandon Kitzler quickly surrendered the only 2 Cubs runs, keying them to that Game 3 win. My bottom line, the Chicago Cubs have had more postseason success, they've had more experience, and I think they just have the pieces and the adjustments necessary to pull off a Game 4 win. I'm taking the Cubs 2, the Nationals 0. The winner of the Cubs-Nationals series goes on to play the LA Dodgers, who swept the Arizona Diamondbacks. The other big matchup this week is the ALDS Game 5 matchup between the New York Yankees and Cleveland Indians in the land. Here are my big 3 things I'm watching in this game. The first thing I'm watching is the ace is out. Will Corey Kluber bounce back? The Indians' postseason depends on it. Cleveland's ace was rocked in the ALDS Game 2 outing, giving up 6 earned runs in just 2 innings pitched. The Tribe needs the October Corey Kluber this start. Kluber was lights out in October, going 5-0 with a .84 ERA during that span. Meanwhile, the New York Yankees are leaning on veteran CC Sabathia to deliver them to the ALCS. Sabathia is a proven veteran who only gave up 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched in his Game 2 outing. This pitching battle will make this Game 5 an instant classic in the land. The second thing I'm watching for is, will Edwin Encarnacion be Ed in the lineup for the Cleveland Indians? There is a clear and obvious hole in the Tribe's batting order since Encarnacion left the lineup with an ankle injury that neither Jay Bruce or the rest of the lineup has plugged up. Encarnacion was reported to be optimistic on his chances of playing, and that is nothing but great news for the Tribe. The third thing I'm watching for is, will Aaron Judge rise up for Game 5? Aaron Judge has been one of the most electrifying hitters of 2017, smashing baseballs 400 to 500 feet out of ballparks all year long, but has shown some inconsistencies in the postseason. Judge's 2 RBIs in Game 4 were his only scores of the series. For the Yankees to move forward, they need Judge to deliver timely hits and avoid costly strikeouts to sliders, curves, and cutters, as he has demonstrated throughout this series. My bottom line, this is pretty much a toss-up game that could go either way, but given the dynamic bullpen the Yankees have, I am grudgingly going to go with New York squeezing out a tight one in the land, 3-2. The winner of Game 5 goes on to play Jose Altuve and the red-hot Houston Astros. Let's talk football. NFL Week 5 was nothing short of exciting, with 11 games being decided by a touchdown or less. This is 28 teams in 120 seconds. We'll start off in Tampa as the Bucs took on the Patriots in a Thursday night football showdown. New England struck first on an early 27-yard field goal, but Tampa answered right back on a goal line Doug Martin touchdown. Jameis Winston led a valiant comeback all for naught as the Patriots defense held on for a 19-14 win. Buffalo was in Cincinnati Sunday looking to win 3 straight, but the Bengals had different plans, and so did A.J. Green. Green lit up a solid Bills secondary for 189 yards, and rookie Joe Mixon got his first rushing touchdown of his young career. Bengals won 20-16. Up in Detroit, Matthew Stafford and the Lions looked to shut down the Panthers, but Cam Newton and Ed Dickson had other plans. Dickson torched the Lions for 175 receiving yards, and the Panthers held off a Lions comeback 27-24. In a battle of the top 5 picks for the 2018 NFL Draft, the Browns played the Jets in Cleveland, the 49ers played the Colts in Indy, and the LA Chargers played the Giants in the Meadowlands. The Jets bested the Browns 17-14. The Colts won off the ageless wonder Adam Vinatieri's 51-yard game-winning field goal, and the Chargers took out the Giants 27-22. The biggest news of all 3 of those games was New York losing 4 receivers in the game, and Odell Beckham Jr. and Brandon Marshall being gone for the season. The Dolphins were back in Miami after their shutout over the pond, and it feels good to be home. Oh yeah, it does, as they squeezed out a 16-10 win over the Matt Castle-led Titans. Fly, Eagles, fly. Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles flew past the Arizona Cardinals 34-7 behind Wentz's 4-touchdown career-best 300-yard performance. From career best to career worst, Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers had their hands full with the Jacksonville Jaguars, throwing 5 interceptions, 2 which were returned for touchdowns, and a 39 beatdown at home. Speaking of beatdowns, the Ravens had themselves one, defeating the Raiders in Oakland 30-17 from 143 yards rushing. Seattle flexed their NFC muscles yet again, beating the Rams 16-10, picking off Jared Goff twice and sacking him another 2 times. Aaron Rodgers is a bad dude. Put him in Cowboy Stadium and he is lights out as he lit up the Cowboys secondary for 251 yards and that go-ahead game-winning touchdown in the closing minute. Sunday Night Football was in Houston as rookie phenom Deshaun Watson took on the undefeated Chiefs. Early in the first, starters J.J. Watt and Whitney Mercilus left with injuries, and as they left, so did the Texans' chances as Alex Smith threw for 300 yards passing, leading the Chiefs to a 42-34 victory and to remain undefeated. Monday Night Football was in the Windy City as rookie Mitchell Trubisky and the Chicago Bears took on the Minnesota Vikings. Trubisky showed flashes of potential, but a late pick sealed the Bears' fate, falling to the Vikings 20-17 at home. It was week 6 in the college football world, and upsets dominated the college landscape. Starting Thursday, North Carolina State upended the Louisville Cardinal and former Heisman winner Lamar Jackson 39-25 from Ryan Finley's 300-yard, 1-touchdown performance. Saturday, Iowa State upset the Oklahoma Sooners and Norman 38-31 behind backup quarterback Kyle Kemp's 300-yard passing performance. This is the Cyclones' first win in Norman in about a few decades. Michigan State upset Michigan 14-10 on a rainy night in Ann Arbor through the Spartans forcing 5 Wolverine turnovers. LSU upset Florida in Gainesville 17-16, and the Stanford Cardinal and Heisman hopeful Bryce Love upset the Utah Utes 23-20 in Salt Lake City. Love rushed for 152 yards. Alabama and Clemson remain the only favorites in the college football playoff in my eyes right now. Lastly, we'll finish with our weekly high school power rankings, starting with Kansas. Coming in at number 1 is the Bishop Miege Stags at 6-0. Next is the St. Thomas Aquinas Saints at 5-1. Coming in at number 3 is the Lawrence Free State Firebirds at 6-0. Number 4 is the DeSoto Tigers at 6-0. And number 5 is Blue Valley at 4-2. Next to Missouri, coming in at number 1 is the Vianney Golden Griffins at 8-0. Number 2 is the Eureka Wildcats at 8-0. Number 3 is the Lee Summit West Titans at 7-1. Coming in at number 4, Christian Brother Cadets at 7-1. And the Blue Springs Wildcats round out the top 5 at 6-2. These stats according to maxpreps.com. Well, I want to thank you all for listening to Beyond the Lights. It's been a pleasure, and hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Tune in next Monday, October the 16th, for the next episode of Beyond the Lights. I'm Chris Sitek, and I'll see you next time.